Today's show is brought to you by State Farm agent Brian McDevitt. Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, save an average of $889. State Farm agent Brian McDevitt is ready to help you combine home and auto, save in Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. Call Brian today at 630-796-2662. That's 630-796-2662. Or visit his website, ryanismyagent.com. That's ryanismyagent.com. And make sure to mention Sports Talk Chicago. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. For those of you who've watched me and listened to me, you know where I stand on the Chicago Bulls. From day one, I said, no playoffs, embrace the rebuild. Don't expect a playoff appearance out of this young team. New coach, new president, new GM, new players. It's not going to be easy to adjust on the fly and make the playoffs in year one of this thing. I said that from the very beginning. Those expectations shifted a bit when they made their trade deadline moves. Goodbye to 3 Garpax picks. Hello, Nikola Vucevic. Hello, Zach Levine with Vucevic and Patrick Williams getting better. That was the core. It was apparent to everybody. And I thought maybe this team could make the playoffs. As an 8 seed, get bounced in round 1, who cares? Getting in would be a big stepping stone for this team. So yes, my expectations changed, just like everybody else's. No one would be content with a losing season, no playoffs, after going out and making all these moves. Understandably so. I wouldn't be. If you go out and acquire an all-star center, and you give up 3 of your draft picks, and Wendell, and all these different players, there's no reason why you shouldn't be winning. The Bulls went on their losing streak. I said, let these guys adjust and get better. But it's pretty clear to me, especially after the loss on Sunday versus Minnesota, the NBA's worst team, that much more still needs to be done. I mean, how disappointing is that? 2 or 3 weeks ago, you go out and acquire Vucevic. Get rid of Garpax picks. You claim the future is here with this move, and then you lose to the worst team in basketball. The optics don't look too good. Let's put it that way. From Bleacher Nation Bulls, quote, didn't think after the trade we'd see a game that's in the running for the worst loss of the season. Can't lose to a last-place team in the league and think you're playoff worthy. Thank you. I made a mistake. I should have never believed that this team was playoff worthy this year. Everybody made a mistake there. We all thought by this move, they'd just naturally become a playoff contender. Boy, were we wrong. Very wrong. It was wrong to make that decision and to change the expectations. Because obviously this team is far from ready. You can't be losing to Minnesota after a big trade. You just can't. That's unacceptable. Patrick Williams was scoreless in the game. 3 shots in 26 minutes. I know he's a big defensive guy. Believe me, I get it. But come on. The guy needs to shoot. A layup, something. I've always wondered about that. He is not being used enough offensively, in my opinion. A rookie averaging 9.5 points per game, to me, that's not good enough. I'm not saying it's his fault. I am saying, though, there needs to be more opportunities for him offensively. He can't just be standing around doing nothing. I get his defense is his bread and butter, But even guys who are defensive stalwarts, Kawhi Leonard, Iguodala in his prime, they still scored. They still put up points. There are very few who did nothing and only played defense. Dennis Rodman won. And Williams is not a center, and he's not a big-time rebounder like that. He's an agile player, good defender, man-to-man defender. Let the guy score. Let him make a shot or two. Let him shoot the ball. 3 shots in 23 minutes is not going to cut it. Losing to the worst team in the league this late in the season after a trade, that's embarrassing. And it should be unacceptable for everybody involved. I think it is. But we all made a mistake. I did too. I thought with those trades, the Bulls were playoff bound. I was wrong. They're not. I should have stuck with my gut, which is, at the beginning of the year, I knew rebuild, don't worry about playoffs. But admittedly, I got caught up in the hype. We all did. When you go out and acquire Nikola Vucevic, and you trade away 3 Garpax picks, what are you supposed to expect? I'm expecting winning right now. And obviously, that was a bad judgment on my part. Can we talk about Lauri Markkanen too? You know, a couple of weeks ago on this show, I had Mark Shanowski on, and he mentioned that the Bulls might give up their rights to Lauri Markkanen. To me, that was a shock at the time. I was shocked to hear that. But the way he's been playing, I'd release him right now. Seriously, get rid of him. This is just way too much. I really hope the guy can find success somewhere else, but it won't be here. I think he's broken. I don't think it's all on him. Injuries have hurt him. Different coaches have hurt him. Don't get me wrong. But we've seen enough. I mean, 15.8 a game, 5 rebounds. You're an average NBA player. And if you're a number 7 pick, you shouldn't be average. You shouldn't be doing that as a number 7 pick. Not this long into the league. There should have been improvement. There should have been growth. We should have seen it. And he's plateaued. His whole career has been a plateau. Unacceptable. I'm very surprised they didn't trade him. But I'll tell you this much. If they offer him even a penny in free agency, big mistake. Big mistake. I don't think they will, but they shouldn't. You know, I'll give Kobe White credit, at least. At least he could score for his height. 14.6. 4 assists per game. I mean, that's bench-worthy at least, if not more so as a starter. But Lauri Markkanen's been around for much longer, and everything's been the same. When will we say it's time to cut ties? I think it is right now. I mean, these things can't be happening. Not if you want to transition into the next stage of this development. I said before, Lauri Markkanen defines an era in Bulls basketball. Losing, mediocrity. He was the one superstar that was around, and the Bulls couldn't win. Fred Hoiberg, Jim Boylan, Billy Donovan. He was here whenever the Bulls lost, and he was their one bright spot, and that's great. But Lauri Markkanen cannot be a part of this winning team unless he wants to play the bench. Forever. He's not starting. He will not be a part of the starting 5 on a winning team, on a playoff-bound team, on a true contender. Many people don't want to hear that, but it's pretty apparent to everybody, right? We've seen enough. I've seen enough. I mean, the bright spots still are the 2 players, Levine, Vucevic. Vucevic, since coming over, 22-9. Great job. Levine, 28-5. Great. That's who you got to build your team around. You keep Williams and hope that he develops. Everybody else, in my opinion, right now is expendable, except for those three. All of them are expendable. Look, it's obvious that this team doesn't work. You can't be losing to the worst team in basketball after you engineer trades. After you tell everybody we're in, we're ready, you can't be dropping games in a playoff chase to Minnesota. What does that tell you? The roster is inadequate. There are players who shouldn't be here. Lauri Markkanen's at the top of that list. There needs to be change. There will be in time. I'm not worried about this. It was my fault for thinking this would be a playoff team and revising my expectations. No. This is still year one. Still year one with Billy Donovan, Arturas, Mark Eversley. It was wrong of all of us, I think, even after the trade, to know they're going to the playoffs. But I will say this, come next year, it's time to expect the playoffs. And it's time to make some hard decisions. Look, I know Lauri's been here for a while. You got to let him go. You have to go out and sign a true point guard or another superstar in general to go with Levine and Vucevic. Then you'll be a top team. You need a point guard. I know Lonzo Ball was talked about. Maybe they could sign him. They need something, though. They need a spark offensively. Kobe White is not a true point guard. Good bench player, good shooter, quick scorer. Great. Not a point guard. Not a starter, even. And a back and forth. Lauri Markkanen should not be on this team. And Patrick Williams needs to be given the basketball. I mean, that's unacceptable. 3 shots, 26 minutes against the worst team. If anything, you'd use the game as development, right? You'd let Williams score more. You're facing the worst team in basketball. Let him play. But no, you take the ball away from him. I don't get that. Let the guy shoot. I know he's a defensive guru. But even defensive gurus put up 15 points a game. 9.5 is not going to cut it moving forward. It's fine this year, rookie year. It won't cut it come next year. We all made a big mistake. This team is not playoff bound, nor should they be in that conversation. Not an insult, it's a fact. They need a full year to develop together. That's what this year was for, development. The theme of this season, it shouldn't have been playoffs, it shouldn't have been expectations, it should have been development. We all fell for the trap after the trades, but that never should have happened. We should have realized this is still a developing young team. We still don't know what's going to happen to some of these guys. This roster is not final. That's how we should have interpreted it as. But we didn't. We got excited. We were so ready to see this team make the playoffs. That was wrong. If they get in this year, good for them. Huge building block, great stuff. But I don't expect it anymore. I don't even want it, to be honest. I'd rather them lose out and fully know what's on their roster come next year. That should be the goal with these last couple of weeks. Figure out realistically who you're keeping and who you're getting rid of. Use this time to develop. Use this time to evaluate still. I'd rather them miss the playoffs and then next year be better because they evaluated well than make it and then have lingering questions about who they should keep and who should stay and who should go. That'll only prolong what they really want to do, their true goal. So if I were the Bulls, stick to the plan. You entered this season with a plan. Development, evaluation, and growth. Don't shift that mid-year to playoffs. Keep it at that. Development, growth, and evaluation. That's how you're going to win basketball games moving forward. You need to sacrifice winning today to get to that point. And the only way that's going to happen is if you know with full certainty he's on a roster, he isn't. If you could go and evaluate everybody and say, we know who we want, we know who we definitely don't want. So I'd sacrifice a playoff appearance. I'd sacrifice expectations for this year. Worry about this team being good next year and the year after that. The loss was disappointing, don't get me wrong. But remember, long way to go. And the loss proved to everybody, I think, that the playoff conversation was frivolous. We shouldn't have been talking about it. We should have been focusing still on the task at hand, development and understanding who should be on this team moving forward. We didn't do that. No one did. Everybody was so giddy for the playoffs that we forgot the true purpose of this season, development. So now I think this is a wake-up call for everybody in a good way. And it's time to realize that this Bulls team, no matter how much you want them to be, they're not a playoff team and they're not a contender yet. They will be if they focus on what they need to do. But if they start concerning themselves with a playoff appearance, with one and done and then moving on, questioning who they should keep even in the offseason, that's going to hurt them more down the road. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with Tony Andracki comes up next, so stay tuned. Hey, do you want to make some money this weekend? What if I told you I could offer you $250 free to bet on any game you want? Here's what you have to do. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. Must be 21 plus, must be an Illinois resident. You can bet $250 free on any game you want for this upcoming weekend. Cubs and White Sox are back. Both of them struggling, but hey, they're back. Bulls basketball continues. The Hawks are going on too. This is, without question, the best time to put down some money and win a whole lot more back. At sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. You have a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.